21% said their agencies hadn't started to plan.
You could change the federal retirement system. The Chief of Naval Operations says all the Navy's investigations into
The Office of Personnel Management wants to know what federal employees think of their benefits.
Welcome to the Federal Leaders Playbook, where high performers in the public sector can push their career forward by learning about the trends, innovation, and technology advancing agency performance. We're kicking off Season 1 by exploring the world of IT service management. We're talking about how federal IT organizations are evolving to manage budget cuts, security breaches, and ever-increasing service demands. Here we go.
All right, so we're going to talk about IT service management. So what does Wikipedia say about it? What's the definition? IT service management, ITSM, refers to the entirety of activities directed by policies, organized and structured in processes and supporting procedures.
Okay.
You got that? So
that's
there's more.
Quite,
Wait a second there.
That is quite a definition.
There's more. Then a pause and a dash. And then my screen went dark. That are performed by an organization to plan, design, deliver, operate, and control information technology. That's the IT part of ITSM.
That is beautiful. So what I heard in there.
Wait.
There's more.
So, come on. Services offered to customers. All right,
so
there
IT
it is.
services offered to customer. I think that's the most important part that you read out of that definition. I heard a lot of things in there. I heard policy. I heard process. And I heard procedures.
Supporting.
Yeah, so each one of those you could spend hours talking about each one of those, but when you pull them all together, I think at the core of this, it is providing IT services to the end user, and it's controlling it, and it's
designing,
planning, yes.
Operating. Sounds like everything. Sounds pretty broad.
It does sound broad. So when we talk about what is ITSM, it is a broad sweeping concept that in the federal space is difficult to articulate, but very important for organization.
Why do you think it's difficult in the federal space?
Actually, I'll take that back. Okay. It's difficult in general. There's a lot to it. What you read in that definition, Tom, it involves everyone in your IT organization has to be a part of this, has to buy into what we're doing, has to understand why they're doing it, what they're a part of, because the end result, we talked about IT services to your customer. Everybody plays a role in that. Your customer satisfaction is derived directly from that. So everything that gets to the point where I am a customer consuming one of your IT services, if someone along the way, whether it's in planning, design, or the operation of that service isn't bought in, is slowing things down, is delaying it, has an impact on the customer.
I think a part of the definition that I don't see there is around aligning IT to the business and getting IT out of reactive mode into a more planned and in alignment with business and what the business is doing. So
what you're saying is the business should be driving what IT services are being provided.
Both. I think there's a alignment. So not only is the business knows what IT is doing, but IT knows what the business is doing. It's not one pushing the other, but they're both in lockstep with each other. So that's the part of the definition that I don't see Wikipedia, but I know that when you look at what ITSM is and why it's there, it's to get IT out of this reactive, I'm just doing operations, I'm just doing day-to-day management. It's why am I doing it and how does this fit into the larger mission of a business?
So we talk about aligning those two. Do you have some specific examples where you could say, this is something I saw, this is something we did, and this is how ITSM helped bridge that gap?
Sure. Department of State is an example. So Department of State provides a lot of services to American citizens. So one example, just with current work that I'm doing, work overseas. So there's a lot of embassies overseas that provide specific services to customers, births abroad, funding that's needed, passports, visas, all of those different services, and the IT that supports a lot of that and those processes behind that supports the overall mission for the department. So just being able to know that this is my end result. Why am I doing this? The Department of State provides these services. What's my IT infrastructure or processes that are enabling those services, and then being able to bridge the gap. And I think that it's not very clear. The business is always kind of siloed away from what IT operations is doing, but they're supposed to be in lockstep with each other.
So I'll go back to what Jessica was saying. I think that is that business to IT alignment. A lot of times when these business owners or a federal leader that is managing a service like that and is interfacing with foreign leaders and foreign service officers, they forget that their service that's being offered and the IT that's supporting it, they look at it from an application development standpoint, right? Maybe it's just the new enhancements or new features of that, but what they miss is the cost of operations, so the availability of their service, and whether it's increasing capacity or scaling up, scaling down, all of these things, these indicators or these costs can be reviewed, can be looked at, can be analyzed based on information that comes out of your ITSM system. So you're going to be able to have that virtual map of what components build up that service. So you can minimize your disruptions, which increases customer satisfaction. You can minimize the architecture necessary or the capacity necessary, which can reduce your overall IT cost. There's a lot of factors that ITSM brings to the table to help kind of reduce the cost and improve that customer satisfaction.
Yeah,
Right.
It's streamlining your service delivery.
Absolutely.
Right. I think as the lines between IT and the business continue to get blurred, as I think they should, IT needs to be confident in what you have, how it's operating, going back to that definition of design, plan, operate, and control. I think today's technology environments are incredibly complex. I think there's still a tremendous amount of legacy applications that have been bolted onto new technologies. A lot of it is piecemealed together, so the ability to manage it as a whole is a challenging job. And service management helps those leaders think about and be confident in what's happening in that environment so that they can have a seat at the table with the business as a viable partner versus a siloed organization that is just responsible. Just keep the lights on. Those days are gone. We need to talk about integration, and we need to understand the business's roadmap so that those legacy applications can be phased out, or so that architecture plan can stay in alignment and on current with industry trends.
Yeah, I think one of Jessica's favorite buzzwords terms, situational awareness. I think ITSM, through all of the processes, thank you, Tom, for reading the Wikipedia definition,
Sure.
the processes and the procedures, that all collectively together brings you that situational awareness that when you are at that table as the leader of the IT organization, when you are trying to bridge the gap with the business, when you are trying to say we're not just a cost center, we are part of the solution, we're part of the discussion, having that in your back pocket, knowing that you have a secure environment, that the data is safe, knowing that you're running operationally efficiently, knowing that you have the availability and capacity is all the things that ITSM can bring to that federal leader that will help them be successful.
Yeah, I think sometimes you assume it's a given that your IT leadership already knows exactly what they have, where it is, how it's configured, and you assume, and maybe I'm the only one guilty of this, but I don't think so, that's something that should be expected as a baseline. But I think in reality, you discover things as they, as problems are encountered.
Goes back to what Jessica said, it's
right,
reactive.
You didn't know that was there, but now you do. So
what do we
what
do
else
with it?
is out there that I'm not sure I have, but that I'm responsible for?
Yeah, I mean, I just going back to what you were saying with, processes and procedures and just, the service delivery, when you're able to look at end to end, it took this amount of time to deliver a service to a customer, and being able to figure out where's the most amount of time, where is it falling?
Sure, it's time and cost.
Right. Is it another tool that I'm looking at, and which is taking more time to analyze because there's no integration or touch point? Is it, a group is sitting on a specific task for too long, and how do you streamline that? So looking across the life cycle of that service and finding ways to automate that's what I look at ITSM. So I think it's happening in environments, and they're doing it, they're just not looking at it through a lens called ITSM, which is
exactly, it touches on everything an IT operational technical person, and even non, does. It's the full life cycle, things you've been doing since the beginning of, technology being available to us, but it's putting a little bit more structure around it. So I think sometimes people look at it as a new concept. It's not. It's what you've been doing always. It's just trying to get some standardization and efficiency out of it.
And also visibility, right? So now all of a sudden things in process come visible.
Right. I think it also gives the boots on the ground that are doing the work a view into why what they're doing is important, and speeding things up, not sitting on things for so long. They're able to see the end goal.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. I think we went through what ITSM is and defined it, and also I think we gave some good points of why it's important to our customers. So thank you, everyone. If you're interested in today's discussion, we invite you to read our show note and download additional free tools and resources at federalleadersplaybook.com. To learn more about Acuity or to contact any of us directly, visit Acuity's website at myacuity.com.
Thanks for listening to the Federal Leaders Playbook. Check out our next episode, subscribe, and visit federalleadersplaybook.com for more great content. See you next time.